So, this is pretty familiar territory, I would say. Right now, it's about high time NHL fans and NHL people go out there and start speculating as to whom it is these teams may draft based off of whom they took out to dinner. We have had our few conversations the past few weeks talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, they took this guy out for dinner, they took that guy. They kind of raised some eyebrows when they took out Sam Dickinson because that guy's a left-handed defenseman, and the fact is the Canadiens already have quite a few of those. But either way, what I wanted to do was refer to another one of these guys that the Montreal Canadiens took out to dinner, and the idea as to whether or not the Canadiens could trade up to draft this guy. Let's refer to an article published by Marco D'Amico from yesterday on Montreal Hockey Now. The Canadiens could look to trade up at the 2024 draft. To put it simply, this article is going out there and talking about the other guy that the Canadiens took out for supper. It is Cole Eiserman. Since the very beginning of the offseason, the perceived plan for the Canadiens was to use the 26th overall pick, acquired from the Winnipeg Jets in the Sean Monahan trade, as bait to acquire a top 6 forward. However, with the price of forwards like Necas, Zegras, and Ehlers reportedly being sky high, the Canadiens may need to pivot their strategy. A source close to the situation have said that the Montreal Canadiens have liked Cole Eiserman for a while now, and that he had done well during prior interviews with the club before the Combine, with Eiserman sliding down the draft rankings, going from a surefire top 5 pick to a player possibly available in the late teens. The Canadiens could see this as an opportunity to make a move to acquire game-breaking scoring ability through the draft instead. It wouldn't make for an immediate solution for the club, which likely will look for another trade like the Kirby Dach or Newhook trades in the meantime, but there are a few things to consider here. Now, before we go into the extra parts about this article that D'Amico brings up, I wanted to talk about that idea in itself, because when it comes to Cole Eiserman, this has been one of the more trendy names, I guess you could say, when it comes to Montreal Canadiens fans, because everybody recognizes that for the Habs, they're not going to take a guy like Eiserman in the 5th overall spot. It's kind of leaning towards Caden Lindstrom, Ivan Demidov, and worst case scenario, if it's not one of those guys, then maybe a Sam Dickinson. If you really wanted to stretch it, Berkly Catton's name comes up once in a while in those conversations too. But that's for pick number 5. For pick number 26, there is an entire other pool of players that you can talk about, and quite frankly, the pool is so big that I don't really think it's too worth it to go out there and speculate on that pick right now. I mean, from spots number 5 onwards, you could really say that the 2024 draft can go in any direction possible. It's that wide open. But when it comes to the idea of taking one of these slippers, okay, that's the wrong word. What's the opposite of a riser? A draft faller, I guess you could say, right? Taking one of the guys that was supposed to go a lot higher, but who has slipped in the rankings, not necessarily because he sucks, but because of a few extra parts about his game that are, let's just say, more desirable to change. Cole Eiserman is seen as one of the best goal scorers in this draft, but other than that, he's got a lot to work on. The way he plays away from the puck is kind of concerning. The way he demands the puck is also kind of concerning, because Cole Eiserman plays like that annoying EASHL player who really just demands passes the entire time and doesn't really pass it himself. He always tries to shoot it, he tries to force an opportunity for himself, and he's very good at doing that. It's just whether or not he can play a team game at the next level remains to be seen. Cough cough, I'm kind of referring to myself here. Either way, when it comes to Cole Eiserman, he has been in the spotlight the past little while because of a few extra interviews that he had done. He has a very big, I don't want to use the word ego, but he's like very confident in himself. And the way he talks about himself, yeah, Cole Eiserman does what Cole Eiserman does. He refers to himself in the third person sometimes. It's very interesting, and he knows that he is a good, talented, goal-scoring hockey player. He acts as such, and he's not afraid to show it. So, when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens wanting that type of swagger on their team, sure, you can say it comes with a few hiccups in the road there. It comes with a few warning labels. Hey, you need to program this guy to be able to play defense. You need to program this guy to be able to play well off the puck too, not just slipping into open space, demanding a pass the entire time, and waiting for shooting lanes to open up on his own. Cole Eiserman is a talented player, but there is a lot of work to be done here before he becomes the best version of himself. But because of this, it's dropped him from what was a surefire top 5 pick to, let's say, somebody that'll probably be taken somewhere after 11th, 12th, 13th overall. And if the Montreal Canadiens wanted to trade up from number 26 into that territory to take Eiserman, it could certainly provide a very good scoring addition. If the Canadiens walk out of the 2024 draft with both Demidov and Eiserman, then imagine the possibilities of having a Caulfield, Demidov, Eiserman-Rand power play. A triple threat of absolute dominance offensively. Now, let's go back to this article and read more about the idea of trading up for Eiserman. The Canadiens would likely need to make a move to nab a pick between the 10th and 17th overall picks, as the Chicago Blackhawks, who traded up to 18th overall a few weeks ago, would certainly take that risk. So it's easy to see why, given the unpredictability of this draft, the Canadiens wanted to do even more homework on Eiserman, to brush through all the negative talk and get down to brass tacks. Of course, D'Amico is referring to the supper and how they interviewed him a lot and they like him. They wanted to do their own due diligence, which of course is admirable. You can go out there and say that's what an NHL team should supposed to be doing anyway. What could the Montreal Canadiens offer? If the Habs draft a defenseman with their top pick, it could spell the end for existing club players like Jayden Struble or Arber Xhekaj, but it shouldn't rule out Logan Mailloux being made available. Combined with the 26th overall pick, the Canadiens have the grounds to build a package that would help them climb 10 to 12 spots in order to nab a falling Eiserman. And this seems to be sort of the territory you could look at when talking about what the Canadiens could do to climb that amount of spots. That's a lot of spots. Like 1/3 of an entire first round, you're gonna have to pay a pretty penny in order to do that. But the Canadiens have a lot of assets that probably are expendable, and if you really twisted Kent Hughes' arm, you could get him to maybe trade away one of these defensemen. So at that point, it becomes a lot easier to say, okay, we'll just package this pick, maybe an extra second, and then one of the other guys that we're already holding on to that we don't really see too much of a future within, and then get ourselves the opportunity to draft a Cole Eiserman, let's say 13th overall. And worst case scenario, if they don't end up drafting Eiserman instead, there are other guys that should be available in the 10 to 17 range that will be awesome players and awesome picks that would have slipped through the cracks. It happens every single year. You always see guys taken in the top 15 that are like, oh, how was that guy available at 12? That guy probably should have been gone by like 8 or 9. It always happens, right? So the Canadiens trading up in general, not necessarily for Eiserman, but just for anybody in that range, would be seen as a pretty good win. It's just, it varies a little bit off the course when compared to the other conversations we've been having. Hey, who could the Canadiens draft, or not draft, but trade for, that is already an NHL player right now? He's already drafted, he's maybe a 2017 to 2020 NHL draft guy, he's already in the league and he's already fine. This guy fits more so in the timeline with what Kent Hughes is trying to build rather than a prospect who would be drafted in 2024. It's just kind of the unfortunate truth about it. But if you wanted to go out there and build for the future with these guys at your disposal, you wanted to see Cole Eiserman as a second-year NHL player scoring 20 goals whilst the Canadiens are in their Stanley Cup window, then okay. Like, I mean, it's totally your call, your prerogative. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to how trading up in the 2024 NHL draft will align with the timeline of the Canadiens' inevitable chance of success. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments if Eiserman is the guy you want to see the Canadiens draft with their second first-round pick. Obviously, they'd have to get a trade done. I know that Eiserman will probably slip, but he's not going to slip to 26th overall. He'll be long gone before then. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Where do you think the Canadiens should trade up to if they want to draft Eiserman? This seems to be one of these conclusions that writers have made, that the Canadiens really do want this guy. So if that's the case, where do you feel appropriate selecting him in the draft, and what do you think the price is to get that done? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the idea of Eiserman over to Montreal. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.